I decided to do my presentation on the Royal Ballet. Dame de Valois is the woman who founded the Royal Ballet initially as a school. She studied under Enrico Cicchetti and danced in revues and opera until she joined Serge Diaghlevi's Ballet Russes. She then found out she had polio when she was 26 years old and ended up quitting performing. Then in 1926, she founded the Academy of Choreographic Art, which then would one day turn into the Royal Ballet. She opened this academy with Lillian Baylis and the manager of the Old Vic Theatre. The general strike of 1926 was happening in England. The strike lasted for 9 days, and it was a response to the horrible working conditions and decreasing pay of industrial workers. Millions of workers participated in these strikes, and it became one of the biggest disputes that happened in British history. In the early 1930s, unemployment in England was very high. This was the start of the Great Depression. London, however, didn't get hit with the Depression as hard. Some parts of London actually thrived. The Academy was located in London, and during this time there was a greater interest in ballet, which also helped out the Academy. In the beginning of the 1900s, ballet was beginning to be reformed. There was an uprising against the conservatism of ballet. Dame Nanette de Valois was a dancer in the early 1900s and was a part of the Elef Ballet, and she was one of the first dancers to create a company outside of Imperial Ballet. At the end of the 1920s, two companies were created, and that was Nanette de Valois' company and Mary Rambert's company, or Academy. Nanette de Valois would have been dancing at the start of this uprising against the traditional ballet, so she would have been dancing when the new style was implemented, and her company would have been running under the new style as well. For my video, I'm going to include it when I turn in the assignment. If you could watch 1:15 to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. The video is a part of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, their show. And this part, the dances are depicting a caterpillar. The dancers move very easily and loose, yet are still graceful and delicate. They use swinging movement, sustained movement, and collapsed movement. Mainly swinging and collapsed movement. They mainly use the middle of the stage, but do go back and forth across the stage. They dance in circles, and there are 4 females, and they mainly stay behind the one male lead. The female dancers collectively are always doing the same thing. The male does differentiate from the female dancers. They do the same thing some of the time though. The male depicts more of the caterpillar. He moves very smoothly. They use ballet, the caterpillar movements that will be described, and then they also incorporate Indian and Arabian movements in their dance. Mainly the female dancers incorporate Indian and Arabian movements, but the dance begins with the male lead moving his arms up and down and also in and out rapidly while bending his upper body down and up. The 4 female dancers form a circle around him, and they all do the same dance in a squat position, moving their arms in a circle around their chests. They then move out around the male dancer, and they move their arms up with their hands in a circular motion. They then keep their hands up and walk to the left. They jump back and forth from one foot to another, and then the male starts to dance differently than the female dancers. He walks back and forth across the stage, moving his arms in and out from his sides. All of the dancers collectively start to move slower, and the female dancers are stepping and kicking their legs while the male dancers spins in circles. They all then get into a line with the male in the front, straight line. They all squat down and start to move side to side. The male then slides down into a split and starts to move backwards, doing a caterpillar-like motion, almost like the worm, but more confined, and he has bent legs and tighter movements. The girls then move out from the line one by one, and the male dancer stands up with his arms in the air and his hands together, and he starts to walk forward while the girls keep walking out opposite ways. The male then tiptoes to the other side of the stage, steps out, and pushes his arms out in front of him in a wave-like motion. He walks backwards and spins, and steps out and does the wave-like motion with his arm again, while the female dancers are behind him, moving and spinning around in a circle. The video then ends with a different female dancer coming out and joining the one male dancer. There's blue lighting on the dancers. In the background there's a house. It looks like a tree, but it has a mushroom-like top. The dancers are in what looks like blue clothing. Since there is a blue light, I didn't know if, the light would possibly change the color of the clothing, but from what I could tell, it is blue clothing. They are wearing what looks like a mix of traditional Indian and Arabian attire, and it looks as if it could be out of the movie Aladdin, like what Jasmine and Aladdin wears in the movie. The male dancer has puffy pants with cuffs on. He has no shirt, and he is wearing a hat and a necklace. The female dancers have flowy skirts on and a top that looks just like a bra, as well as a veil on their heads, and it reaches down to the bottoms of their skirts. The Royal Ballet is one of the most renowned ballet companies in the world. The Royal Ballet is a company, but it includes the Royal Opera House as well as the Royal Ballet School. It is the second top-rated ballet school in the world, right under the Paris Opera Ballet School. It trains young students not only in ballet, but also in academics, and they do take pride in that. Nanette de Valois even said, "A school is the bedrock of any company, nurturing as it does the dancers and choreographers of the future." The Royal Ballet is mainly known for its creativeness as well as its artistic principles. They incorporate dances from different cultures in their ballet, as can be seen from the video sample. They also take what is seen as traditional ballet and integrate the 21st century into it.